from Nate Oatmeal, not Nate Oates, Nate Oatmeal. He says that Alabama, in year one of the Kalen DeBoer regime, will have one loss. One loss. So I'm assuming now we're speaking just to the regular season. Nate Oatmeal, if you're speaking to the postseason as well, hat tip salute to you. If this happens, they're likely in Atlanta. I don't think that's unreasonable to say. It also probably means as they go to Atlanta, they have a college football playoff spot locked up. Because a runner-up Alabama that only has one loss on the year with the schedule they have, they will be a college football playoff team, whether they get a bye or not. Now, it's been no secret. I am high as it gets on Jalen Milroe and Kalen DeBoer. I think that system will accentuate his strengths. I think they got some pass catchers that are maybe a little bit more sneaky, kind of under the radar guys. Like Jeremy Bernard is going to be a dude for you now, coming over from Washington. I'll leave that there. My question is, how much do they get from the defense to make this happen? Like, they only bring back 33% production. I have been hammering that stat to y'all really since those returning production rankings came out. A lot of really talented players, but also a lot of young bucks that you're going to ask a lot of early on in the season. One loss feels a little bit rich because of the schedule. Like, you got to play Georgia. So if you're saying losing to Georgia and nobody else, I could see a path of that happening. But there's so many difficult road games, too. Like, you got to go to Tennessee. I think Nico's going to be a stud this year. I think he's going to be one of those guys that could take over a game. I'm not saying you lose. I'm just saying that's going to be a tough one. You go to LSU. If LSU has their ducks in a row, and I believe they do, that game will be at night. Death Valley at night's a different beast. You're at Oklahoma. I'm not saying Oklahoma is a better team. I'm just saying who knows. You go to Norman towards the end of the year. Who's dinged up? Who's available? I don't know. That's a tricky one. And then who knows about Auburn? Like, thankfully, you get them in Tuscaloosa this year, but I think Auburn's a total wild card. So one loss I have a harder time buying into, but let's just say they do it. Let's just say that they go out and have a one-loss kind of season. It means that DeBoer's offense cooked, surprise, surprise. But if they have one loss, I just mentioned all the returning production they don't have on defense. If they go out and have one loss his first year out there under Kalen DeBoer, give Kane Womack the team MVP. Like, when you have your banquet at the end of the year, every team has this. The team MVP, the defensive player of the year, the offensive player of the year, whoever it is, give all those awards to Kane Womack, all right? Because he will have earned it. Because that means he put a system in place that was able to maximize some young, raw talent to go out and be more than competitive against all those teams that I just mentioned. That's going to be some very good offenses they have to play. Now, the good news, though, within this shot you're calling, I don't think it's going to take a one-loss kind of year for Alabama to check the box their first year under Kalen DeBoer. I think you can reassure everyone in America, most specifically recruits, with a 10-win season, who Alabama is. Because 10-2, I think, still gets you in the playoff, even if you're not in Atlanta. I think 10-2 still communicates loud and clear, hey, Alabama's not going anywhere. We're not taking this jump off a cliff, even though we lost Nick Saban. Like, Alabama's in good hands. Because if you go 10-2 in year one, I think the pitch then becomes to talent to bring them to Tuscaloosa. Like, hey, that was year one. We're just getting started. This whole thing is just getting off the ground. That was the first step. Step 4, 5, and 6 is all the way over there, where we go win national titles, SEC titles, and all that. Come be a part of this in Tuscaloosa. And they will continue to cook, as they have cooked right now on the recruiting trail. So, Alabama ending the season with one loss. I see where you're coming from. I'll lean a little bit more as we sit here right now, reserving our right to change when it comes to prediction season. I will lean more towards them being a 10-2 football team, with that being more than enough to do what they need to do in 2024. Hey y'all, thanks so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel here to make sure you don't miss an episode of The Hard Count. Also be sure to check out other videos on the On3 YouTube channel.